Let's turn to one of the other geographies now, just briefly. You also, this year, were granted a banking license by the Central Bank of Kenya. What's the next step? What are the opportunities in East Africa?
Well, from where we sit within the UAE, right, if you visualize it geographically, from where we are within the UAE in Dubai, we've always had ambitions to connect the dots. So we always wanted to make sure that we venture out into Far East Asia and we venture out into East Africa. It's an ambition that Dubai itself has in order to make sure that it captures the trade flows between these two continents. So I think being a bank out of UAE, we subscribed to that natural ambition, and we wanted to make sure that we can play a part in enhancing these trade flows and even capturing them. Within UAE, we've, I think, gained momentum, as everyone has witnessed. We've ventured out in Far East Asia. We now have presence in Indonesia, as we've just discussed. East Africa was the next logical point. And when you look at Africa as a continent, everybody talks about the promise and Africa rising. You've got to choose between West and the East. And from where we are geographically located, East Africa made much more sense. Now, when you look at the countries on the East African belt, Kenya, Tanzania, Rwanda, Burundi, Malawi, when you look at all of those, Kenya just stands out, right? That's a country that stands out in the regulatory framework that it has, the stability that is there in the country, and also the welcomeness that the Kenyan regulator has for an institution coming out of the Middle East. Keeping all that in mind, I think we worked alongside the regulator. We now have a license to operate. The bank is up and running. It's already opened. We have ambitious plans, Robin, for East Africa. Kenya is just going to be the start. We are also looking at the East African belt. But I think we've got to start walking before we run. So we are taking it quite, at the right pace and making sure that, the organization actually comes out of this gestation period. We are looking at some of the other East African countries as well, but Kenya is just going to be, one such country that we'll be focusing on in years to come.